Great, and we are back with after a small technical glitch. Let me again remind our followers. Today we are going to have a very special session with Dr. Nirali Mehta, who is a child dental specialist, and she'll be addressing all the problems that our very young patients face, especially during the developing years. Right.
And
So
take this opportunity and introduce Dr. Nirali once again to us, to all of you. Dr. Nirali is a child dental specialist. She practices dentistry only related to children, and she's been doing this for almost 10 years now. Her focus is mainly on preventing dental problems in children. She loves educating parents on how to prevent dental problems in children, and she hates, actually, trust me, she hates doing treatment. She loves preventing those problems in children. So I'm so glad that she's over here with us today, and I'm so glad that she's going to share all her knowledge with us. And I want to thank all of you for those amazing questions that you all have sent. There's such a long list, so we've just tried to compile it in a sequence so that everything makes sense and it turns out more logical, right? So, Dr. Nirali, should we start? You want to just say hello
Yes.
to everybody? We have quite a few people online over here.
I'm really very glad to be here, and I hope this session.
Nirali,
Okay, you're not audible.
I'm not audible. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Why?
maybe you can try increasing the volume and
Yeah,
just check
maybe.
it once.
How is it now?
Maybe you can just no,
Not
there's no volume there.
No, can't hear you at all.
Now, maybe if I remove the head.
You can just remove it
Yeah,
and
you
just
can
check.
probably
Is it
remove
You
it
can
and
talk.
you
You
can
can
hear
speak
now?
directly.
No,
No,
I don't know
no.
why.
Okay, I don't know. Now.
Don't use the headphones and just
There are no
remove,
headphones.
unplug it.
Oh, you have no headphones?
Yeah,
Yeah. Can you hear
Oh.
me now?
just check.
Yeah, wait, we'll just check.
Yes, try now.
I'm getting messages that we can hear.
It's
Okay.
okay, you guys. I think the audience is saying that they can hear.
Correct.
So I think that's enough. That's
Yes,
good
I
now.
think
Yeah.
yeah, it's better.
Perfect. So we'll keep it like this. I'll not use the headphones.
Yes,
Perfect.
yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. All right.
Great.
So I'm glad I'm here, and I hope this session does the justice of giving the information to parents to ensure that we're working on preventive pediatric dentistry and preventing cavities, especially in children. So let's get started
Great.
with it.
Okay.
Great. So, Nirali, I think the first question comes from someone who does not like dentists. So, he or she is asking, when is the right time to start with the
Like what should I like? When should I start? If
yeah,
I
like I don't want to see a dentist. So, when and
Yeah,
when should I
correct.
start?
like with my
So,
child.
correct. So, actually, in order to prevent cavities in children, you really need to start way early. I would even say before you
Okay.
start planning into having a family, what as a to-be
Oh.
parents or expecting mother you really need to do is make sure that you have fixed your dental problems. There is a lot of
Okay.
research which is showing that in case a parent has active cavity, there can be transmission of that bacteria from the parent to the child. So
Wow.
it
Okay.
could be in terms of later when you have a child, in terms of sharing the spoon or even just biologically passing it down from you to the child. So yes, if you're anywhere as a in the process of pregnancy or soon starting to have a family, get your dental problems sorted. Make sure you don't have any active cavities. So it starts much
Right.
before. Another thing I would like to add is also during pregnancy, as a mother, you need to look into your nutrition balance. We want to make sure
Okay.
that because it's during the 4th and 5th week of your intrauterine life, during your 4th week of your pregnancy is when the dental treatment, the dental teeth are going to start forming. So we want to make sure those teeth are formed well and they have the required nutrition while they're getting formed, right? So, especially in terms of calcium, vitamin D, your folic acid, make sure those supplements are being taken and they are available for you. So, a balanced diet would be another thing that we want to take care of. And also, one of the most common problems that we see is because of the hormonal fluctuation during pregnancy, there are a lot of problems in the gum area of a mother. You could see in
Okay.
terms of frequent bleeding, or you could also see in terms of gums growing thicker, and you will see overgrowth over the gums. Now, to reduce that, we need something like a cleanup, which can be done to make sure that it's just hormonal, but there is no calculus or plaque or tartar which is present
Okay.
in the gum area. Because periodontal problem, which is basically gum problem, could lead to getting a child having a low birth weight, or there could be a preterm labor. Now, low birth weight or
Okay.
a preterm labor are both linked to children getting early childhood cavities, which is basically
Okay.
cavities happening very early in life. So we want to
Okay.
reduce
Right.
that. So three things during pregnancy would be: one, take care of your cavities, make sure you don't have an active cavity, make sure that there is nutrition in terms of all the vitamins, and third, there is no gum problem. So that is where
Right.
you need to
Excellent.
Perfect.
start the journey.
So basically, if you have been to a dentist all through your life, probably your kids would also end up going to a dentist. And if you've
Correct,
never been
correct.
to a dentist, you make sure that your kids are going to a dentist.
But
Right.
again, make
Let's
sure
head to
you
the
don't
next
have any
question.
active cavity.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No, very true. Okay. So the next question is that what do I do? Like, what do I do with the child dental health immediately after the child is born? What care do I need to take? Because
Right.
that time the child doesn't have teeth, but then yet what care can I take?
So actually, the birth to the first 6 months, your child is going to get his or her first tooth when he or she is going to be of age 6 months to 1 year. Now, before that, before a child gets a tooth, you could do a lot of things to prevent them from getting a cavity. The first and foremost thing you want to do is breastfeeding. That is the
Okay.
cure for everything. You want to make sure that your child is being breastfed for the first 6 months. Okay. Now, breastfeeding,
Okay.
I'm sure everyone's heard about it from pediatrician and from everywhere. It's got all the nutrition that a child needs to grow. So that's one aspect of it. You're providing the child with the nutrition for a healthy dental tissue being deposited. And apart from that, you're also training the child's jaw. Okay, there's a lot of
Okay.
importance in terms of
Okay.
you want to make sure the child's jaw grows proportionately with the number of teeth he or she is going to have. Okay, initially the jaw is smaller. By jaw, I mean the upper and the lower jaw. They're smaller.
Okay.
They eventually grow in the first 6 months. But it only
Okay.
happens if they are on breastfeeding. Okay, that will make sure that the
Right.
jaw grows correctly. It will grow to the right proportion to make sure there's enough space for the teeth to come when they turn 6 months old.
Okay.
So the
Right.
first and foremost thing you want to take care is about breastfeeding. Another thing
Right.
you
Okay.
want to do is you want to clean the gum pads and massage it. By cleaning, I mean
Okay.
you could take a muslin cloth, you could dip it in water and wipe off the gum pads, keeping it clean. So that will
Okay.
Right.
ensure that there is nothing stuck on the gums, and the massaging also helps in the development of the jaws. So these
Right.
are two things you would want to take care of: breastfeeding and massaging of the gum pads.
Great.
Great. Superb. So,
Yeah.
doctor, most of the mothers start bottle feeding very early.
Yeah.
So, and we have seen a lot of kids with cavities. So, is there any connection between bottle feeding, the milk, and cavities getting developed in these kids?
Correct. So bottle feeding is linked to two things. One is
Okay.
cavity and second is crooked teeth. So we're going to get into the
Okay.
depth of it, why this happens. Okay. Bottle feeding, the process in which the child is swallowing the milk from the bottle is completely different from the way the child is breastfeeding and swallowing
Okay.
that milk. Okay. Which basically
Right.
means that when the
Okay.
child is breastfeeding, there is a way in which it is keeping its tongue over the roof of the mouth. Okay, the roof of the mouth is the upper bowl in the mouth, the palate, and the tongue. They come in contact when the child is breastfeeding.
Right.
Okay, but when they are bottle feeding, you're putting something in between the roof of the mouth and tongue. So what
Right.
happens
Okay.
is there's a space between the tongue and the roof of the mouth, and the tongue never reaches to the palate or the roof of the mouth, as I'm saying. Because of
Okay.
that, the
Right.
jaw doesn't grow to the right proportion. It will always remain small and narrow. So these
Okay.
kids, when they grow up and start getting teeth,
Huh.
20 set of teeth and 10 on the upper and 10 on the lower, there is not enough space for all these teeth to, there's not enough room for all
Okay.
these teeth to grow.
Accommodate.
As a result of
Right.
this, you will have crooked teeth. So that's
Mm.
one aspect of it. So bottle feeding is linked to
Okay.
crooked teeth. So you want to make sure that you don't get into it. And the other problem is cavities. We actually call it baby bottle cavities for the reason that's linked to baby bottle. What happens is when
Okay.
they're drinking from the bottle, generally we see that
Hmm.
the child is drinking from the bottle and going off to sleep. Now that milk
Right.
Right,
remains in
right.
mouth. Okay, milk even if doesn't have sugar is actually sugar in its form, right? It's lactose which breaks down
Right.
into sugar.
Correct.
So if that milk gets stayed on the teeth over the surface of the tooth, it will land up into cavities. So baby
Okay.
bottle, the biggest problem is it will lead to cavities very early in life. As young as 1.5
Okay.
years, you start having cavities, and also it
Wow.
will eventually lead to crooked teeth.
Right.
Okay. So basically, you are saying that we should avoid bottles as far as we can, right? Is that
Can
what you mean?
correct, absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Great.
So in view of that, what do you think about a sippy cup? I mean, would that be a good alternative, or what? Like, if we can't use a bottle, like certain children wouldn't feed.
Okay, so this we're probably talking much later in life. Okay, when
Yeah,
you
I guess.
Yes.
Yes,
augment, yeah.
exactly.
So later in life, what we recommend is yes, if you need to use sippy cup when you're making a transition into solid foods, yeah, and you want to make sure that now the child is weaning or breastfeeding and having milk or any other source from outside. In that case, yes, sippy cups can be used. They're a great alternative, but please understand they are used for training. Your final goal is to make sure that the child drinks from a cup or a glass. So now
Right.
in
Okay.
that terms,
Okay.
you want to train them in a way that they're drinking from a glass by the time they turn 1 year old.
Okay.
Okay.
So you do have
Okay.
a time frame of 2 to 3 months where you probably want to train them between breastfeeding
Okay.
and drinking from a glass. That frame of time you could use for using a sippy cup, but
Right.
Okay.
eventually it cannot be something that you're using for too long.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And in
Okay.
sippy
Got
cup,
it.
one more thing I would like to add is they have two types of sippy cups. One is no spill,
Right.
Okay.
basically, which means
Right.
that if you turn the sippy cup downwards in the upside down direction, no milk will flow out or water will flow out.
Correct.
Okay, they are
Right.
basically modified bottles, your baby bottles, and you
Right.
don't want to
Okay.
use them. So you want
Right.
a
Okay.
sippy cup, if you turn around upside down, things will fall down. This
Okay.
Right.
basically promotes them to start drinking from a glass faster because
All
Okay.
right.
they've learned how to swallow quickly. Otherwise,
Correct.
they'll do the same thing of sucking and then pulling it in the mouth and then taking their own time to swallow it down. Right? So you want
Right.
to
Right.
shift
Right.
to a sippy cup, but you also want to use a sippy cup. If you flip it upside down, things will flow out.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. That's a good
Yeah.
tip.
I think a lot of parents, what they do is, I think they check if nothing is falling out, then it's a good cup. I mean, I think that's a
Correct.
wrong,
Correct. Let the child be
notion that we
messy.
have.
I know it's messy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's messier, but that would actually put them into using a glass much sooner.
Right. Right.
Correct. Correct.
Superb. So, Doc, after 6 months, we shift the child from fluid diet to actually
Like a
starting with the solid foods. So, Doc,
Correct.
what do you recommend? What should mothers include in the diet and in the nutrition, and what they should not include in the diet?
So, in terms of introducing solid foods, there are a few things that we need to take care of. One is you want to introduce fruits from all food groups, which basically means there should
Okay.
be enough from vegetables, pulses, fruits, milk and milk products, nuts and seeds. So all of it has to be introduced to the child. Okay. Obviously, we do it in
Okay.
a way in a sequence that the child is comfortable in accepting that food. Okay. My idea is to introduce food in that way, but ensure that you don't have anything introduced in terms of packaged food.
Right.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we see a lot of kids as young as 8 months and 9 months already munching on packaged food. It could be a biscuit, it could be anything that
Okay.
you've been eating from packaged food and you're giving it to a child, and they develop that kind of taste. One, and second, those
Right.
are all food which are extremely going to put your child on high risk of getting a cavity.
Right.
Right.
So, so about in terms of nutrition, stick to homemade food. Stick to including
Okay.
a diversity of food in terms of including food from all the food groups, but stay away from packaged food and food which is high in sugar.
Okay.
So
Right.
that is what would be the recommendation.
Okay. So, okay, when would you start recommending brushing, and what toothbrush or toothpaste should they use? That is a question.
Correct. So one of the most important thing is once the child's first tooth develops, that is when you need to start brushing. And the first tooth generally
Okay.
develops say around 7 to 8 months. 6 to 8 months is the range, and
Okay.
that's when we see the first tooth coming out. And you want to go into brushing the child's tooth right there. Now, what I generally recommend is using something like a finger brush, which is basically a brush that goes over your finger. And in terms of toothpaste, the recommendation from American Association of Pediatric Dentistry is to use a toothpaste which has fluoride in it. Okay.
Okay.
It could
Right.
have minimal amount of fluoride, as minimal as 500 ppm of fluoride. And you want to stick to a quantity which is size of a rice. That little.
Okay.
Even if the child swallows, it's absolutely okay. Right?
Okay.
So you want
Right.
to start brushing as soon as the first tooth erupts. You want to use a finger brush, and you want to use a toothpaste which has fluoride in it to an extent of size of a rice. That will do no harm to your child, and it will in fact ensure there is some protection from cavity.
Okay.
Right.
Nice. Great. The next question is, how will I know that my child is developing a cavity?
Okay. Yes. One of the things I ask parents to do is once you've seen that the child is getting erupting teeth,
Correct.
one important thing is lift the child's lip. Okay, you lift the child's lip and check for the tooth if there is anything which is going wrong. In terms of going wrong, it would be you would either see some white spot.
Okay.
Some part
Okay.
of the tooth will look whiter than the other part of the tooth. You know, we are all trained to
Okay.
look in nails. If you look at the logic, we're all trained to look in nails if there's some calcium deficiency. You know, that's how the parents would look at it. Okay, if there's some nail and there's
Right.
a white spot, you know there's a calcium deficiency. The same applies to a tooth. Look for a spot. If there's a spot which is whiter than the rest of the tooth, that means there's a calcium deficiency on that tooth.
Okay.
Which means it's an early sign of cavity and something has to be done that time. That would be one thing. White spot is the first sign that you will get. That white spot will eventually turn into a yellow or a brown spot. And eventually will
Okay.
break to give you a proper cavity.
Right.
So lift
Okay.
your child's lip once every month to check if there is anything like this happening in your child's mouth.
Right. Okay. So continuous vigilant after the parents need to be vigilant every 1 month to see what kind of teeth are
Correct.
developing in the
After
child's
the first
right.
tooth erupts.
And
Yes.
right. And when should they be visiting the dentist?
Yeah.
The first dental visit.
Okay, so this actually needs to change in terms of when you should be visiting a dentist. Ideally, you should be visiting a dentist as soon as the first tooth erupts or before the child turns 1. The reason why we are doing this
Okay.
is because we want to check if there is any anatomy problem in your child's tooth, which means that we
Okay.
will look if there is something wrong, if either the tooth has come out weaker or if there's anything that has to be modified, that's the time we would want to do. And you could have a counseling session with your pediatric dentist that time to make sure that you can take all the preventive measures to ensure that no cavity develops on any of those teeth. So the first visit to a dentist should be at the age of 6 months when the first tooth erupts, or definitely before the child turns 1.
Okay.
Okay, so the next question is, see, honestly, one parent, and it is, I think, a very genuine question that we as adults are also scared to visit a dentist. Wouldn't it be scary for the child, or when they visit the dentist at such a young age? How would it impact the child, or what would the child experience when they come to a child dentist?
So this is what the change has been. We are looking at something called as pediatric dentistry. Okay, there are specialized dentists now who, in terms of handling kids, are very friendly.
Correct.
They child generally they love coming back to those pediatric dentists in terms of dental visits. Okay, the whole
Okay.
environment is different. And in terms of the first visit, let's understand that. No treatment is being done. It's as easy as visiting a pediatrician and getting a checkup done. The pediatric dentist
Okay.
is only going to look at your child's tooth and then just give you a brief idea as to what anticipatory guidelines you as a parent can benefit by following. what we're talking about right now is also basically preventive treatment that you can do at home. But sometimes when you
Okay.
visit a pediatric dentist, it can be very specific to your child, and that could
Right.
be a huge advantage. So if your child does have some calcium deficiency, or if we see that the anatomy of the tooth is not as good as it should be, we will get into depth of diet. We will get into depth of if there is any vitamin supplement that we need to give, or if the toothbrush and toothpaste need to change. Is there any additional toothpaste that we need to give for home care?
Okay.
So no treatment is being done. We're just guiding you as to change that has to be done in terms of home care.
Correct. So
Right.
as you said, it's more preventive and more specific
Correct.
to your child's needs.
Correct.
And then according to that, you will instruct what the parents can do.
Correct.
That's
so that's why
wonderful.
we would want to see them before they develop a cavity. That is why we recommend 6 months when the first tooth erupts, or or before the first birthday of the child.
Okay, great.
So, Doc, most of the parents feel that the milk tooth or the deciduous tooth are not very important because eventually they are going to fall off.
Right.
So, do you think there is any sense in this kind of concept that they have, or milk tooth are very important? What do you think is the importance of these milk or the deciduous teeth?
Correct. Correct. So milk teeth are actually extremely important. They basically they put up a foundation for the permanent teeth. So if there is a
Okay.
problem in the milk teeth, they are going to be seeing something similar on your permanent teeth. All right. Now let's start with something. Maybe if your child gets a cavity on the milk tooth. Now the problem is
Okay.
really not the cavity that we're looking at. The problem is why your child got a cavity in a milk tooth. We go back into, is the diet wrong? Is the brushing or oral hygiene not being taken care of? And that becomes a habit. If the child is on a wrong diet right at the age of 2.5, 3 years, when he's having milk teeth, something similar is going to be seen when the child gets older and has a set of permanent teeth. So if a child did get a
Okay.
cavity on his milk tooth, he's going to be at high risk on getting a cavity on his permanent teeth. In the meantime, what we
Okay.
could do is we could work on ensuring that everything else is changed. We want to change the diet, we want to change the oral hygiene, and make sure that by the time the permanent teeth erupt, there is a sound foundation and there are no active cavities so that the permanent teeth get affected. That's one. Second is, yes, if there's a cavity and left untreated on milk tooth, it kind of gets bigger and eventually changes the shape and formation of the permanent teeth. So there is a
Okay.
connection because the permanent tooth is being formed right underneath the milk tooth. So the milk tooth has cavity, eventually leads to formation of an abscess or a pus, and that pus affects the permanent tooth and it comes out deeper. So that tooth, permanent
Okay.
tooth, again becomes at high risk of getting a cavity as soon as it erupts.
Okay.
Right.
That's the second thing. So yes, there is a link over there. The third thing is whenever there is a cavity between two teeth, but generally we
Okay.
see in milk teeth, it does mean that whenever there's a cavity, there's a loss of space. Now, milk teeth they play an important role in saving the space for the permanent tooth. The space which is taken up by the milk tooth is eventually replaced by the permanent tooth. Now, if there is
Right.
deficiency of space, there will be deficiency of space for permanent teeth, and that will lead to crooked teeth. Which is why if you
Okay.
take care of cavities in milk teeth, you're actually taking care of crooked teeth in permanent teeth. So if you
Okay.
make sure that the child doesn't get a cavity as a milk tooth, you are actually ensuring the child gets straight teeth later in life.
Right.
So we, honestly speaking, I'm sure right now is like a moment of enlightenment for a lot of parents, because nobody thought of it in this way that,
Correct.
like a milk tooth could have so much of an effect on the permanent teeth.
Correct. Another thing actually
Right.
I want to add is, milk teeth, they play an important role in terms of chewing the food for a child.
Okay.
Now, we need to understand that that role is the most important role that the teeth are actually doing for the reason that when your child is chewing, it helps in the growth of the jaws. Okay, it's like a
Okay.
gym workout for your child's mouth. Whenever they are chewing, it's like a gym workout, and it
Right.
helps to make the muscles strong and helps in the growth of the jaws. If we lose this function, if your child is not using a milk teeth say well for chewing, and because of cavities, the child is not able to chew well, that would ensure that the jaws don't grow to its full potential. So that actually
Okay.
leads to a skeletal problem. Again, what you would see is crooked teeth later. That's one.
Right.
Apart from it, we have a lot of research which says that those are the children, they have something like a compromised airway later in life. Now, by
Right.
Okay.
compromised airway, I mean that there is not enough airway space in your child, eventually leading them to problems like snoring or grinding of teeth or some of those problems later in life. So these are
Right.
all huge connection, and like these are dots that we need to connect. And it starts from ensuring that milk teeth are healthy.
Right. So milk teeth are as
Great.
important as the permanent teeth, and they need to be
Permanent.
preserved.
Yes,
Every possible effort should be
Yeah.
made to prevent cavities or their development.
absolutely.
Okay, great. So I think, Doctor, what we've covered till now is like we've reached 1 year of age of the child. So from 1 to 2 years, what do you recommend in terms of changes in the diet of the
Right.
child, or
Right.
brushing
So,
habits, or
correct.
basically home care? What do you recommend for home care from 1 to 2 years of age?
Right. So by the time your child is 1 year, has probably started eating food and solid food from outside. But before one, what we're doing is we're giving the child mishmash food, right? They're all made into a
Right.
puree and then eventually fed to the child. What we want to do from 1 to 2 years is we want to make sure that the food consistency is getting thicker and fibrous, that the child has to take more
Correct.
effort to chew that food. So we want to eventually reduce the amount of mishmash food that you're giving and start giving a whole chunk of food, right? You want to
Okay.
ensure that the child is now really chewing and then swallowing rather than just gulping down. So as I explained, again, because for the same reason that you really want the child to use their teeth in terms of growing the jaws so that it helps later.
Okay.
So that's one thing that you really need to change at this time. Apart from that, please make sure that the child is having enough enough food in terms of getting all the vitamins. The vitamins that we really
Okay.
want to ensure that your child is getting is vitamin D, calcium, and all fat soluble vitamins, okay, like vitamin A. Now, these obviously come from different food items, so please ensure that all these food items are included. It could be in terms of milk and milk products, it could be in terms of carrot, vitamin A. As we know, like the biggest and the best source is
Correct.
carrot. So you could have few
Yeah.
carrot sticks which the child is having, and that also again, if you see a carrot, you really have to chew. So that will also do
Right.
dual work of giving the nutrition and helping the child to chew. You want to make
Right.
sure that green leafy vegetables are a part of your child's diet. So 1 to 2 years is when they will see that lot of other teeth erupting. So make sure that you're brushing 2 times, morning and night. By now, if your child has been regularly following all the instructions we have said before, would be easily
Right.
slipping into brushing 2 times morning and night. Okay. Second
Okay.
would be getting into home cooked food and increasing the consistency of food. The third is obviously like at this time you probably see most of the parents getting into the weaning stage of breastfeeding.
Right.
So
Right.
you want to again ensure that the child is not picking up bottle, is drinking if you are giving another source of milk from a glass and not a bottle, okay? And even if the child is not trained in terms of using a sippy cup, you probably start training them, okay? And if they're using a sippy cup, you want to make sure that they're not roaming around with that sippy cup in the whole house, because what they do land up doing is they take a sip and then they'll forget about it and
And
then
then,
again take a sip.
yes.
So one important concept that brings us to is something called as
Yeah.
frequent snacking. That's one problem with kids,
Right.
what we see, right? We see them eating
Correct.
small bits of food every day, okay? Now, there is two things. One is if your child is eating diet which is rich in sugar or carbohydrate in general, they are going to be at risk of getting cavity. But we are all well
Right.
trained in getting a carbohydrate rich food for 3 to 4 times in a day. But in case, in between these main meals, if your child is having something sugary or something like a fruit juice, or even in terms of milk, taking a few sip and then forgetting about it and coming back to it, this whole habit of frequent snacking can put your child on high risk of getting a cavity. So if
Okay.
you're
Right.
giving them something to drink from a glass or a bottle, you want to make sure that you're finishing it in one go and not
Right.
going around with it.
Right.
Right.
So you are saying that frequent snacking you want to avoid. Basically, foods that which are rich in carbohydrates should be avoided in
Correct.
between the main meals. Correct?
So that's what we say. That
Right.
sugary items obviously you want to avoid completely. Now, ideally, what you're, if I have to go technical, I would say that your child is allowed to have 4 grams of sugar a day. That's 1 spoon of sugar.
Okay.
So even if you pick
Okay.
up anything, make sure that that item, if it has sugar, is during the main meal times. That is your breakfast, lunch, and
Correct.
dinner. if there's anything that has sugar in
Right.
it, please stick to giving them to your kids only during only during their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But in between, if
Okay.
there's a snack time that you're giving, make sure it does not have anything like sugar or processed food. You want to stick to something like wholesome. It could be few carrot sticks. It could be say date or some almonds or cashews or seeds like pumpkin seeds or any of those rich food rather than having any sugary item in between.
Right.
Wonderful.
Great. So, doctor, the in dental field, we say that the second birthday of the child is most important because by then, when the child is of 2 years of age, he or she has got all the set of milk teeth in his mouth.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
are there any precautions that the parents needs to take or the child needs to be taking care of with his teeth?
Yes, I think one of the most important thing that we need to do as soon as your child turns 2 is because they have developed the whole set of teeth, one, and second, they've also learned how to spit. Generally, by the time the child turns 2, knows how to spit. We want to increase the quantity of your toothpaste.
Okay.
As I said earlier, your child will be using a toothpaste at the size of a rice. I want you to increase that toothpaste the size of a pea, which is basically
Right.
one drop what comes out from the nozzle of the toothpaste. That's the amount you want to use for your child now. So
Okay.
increase the quantity of toothpaste because now that is what your child needs to ensure that there's some protection against cavity.
Right.
So that's what we want to do in terms of
Right.
homework.
So, I think we should give the kids a toothpaste, a bigger toothpaste when they
A
turn
bigger
2 year old.
toothpaste.
Yes.
Okay. The next question is that is there any treatment that you can do as a dentist that will help prevent cavities in my child's mouth?
Correct. So, in fact, this is a good time to come and visit a dentist again. And this time we will be getting into not just counseling but dental treatment aspect of it. Okay. Now, by dental
Okay.
treatment at this, we would be doing something like a preventive treatment. We are not looking at dental treatment in terms of drilling your child's tooth. What we are looking at
Yeah.
is applying some paste on your child's mouth, all right, to ensure that they don't get cavity. Okay, there's something called as fluoride treatment that we as pediatric dentists do. Generally, would be at the same age group of 2 to 3 years. Okay, you obviously evaluate if your child requires it or not. If if you see that the teeth are absolutely there is no spot of cavity, there are no white spots, everything is spick and span, your child does not need it. But if we feel that your
Okay.
child is at risk, we decide on the basis of your diet, on the basis of what your child is eating, how your child is brushing, etc., etc. And if we feel that your
Right.
child is at risk of getting a cavity, we do this treatment called as fluoride varnish or fluoride application.
Okay.
It's extremely
All right.
simple, and I can say by experience that children love it. It's literally like what I call it as putting a nail paint on your child's fingers. It works on the same principle. We have this tiny brush
Correct.
and we just have to coat your child's teeth with this cream, and it tastes really good. So some of kids love it. So it takes all of total of 2 minutes, and that
Okay.
would definitely benefit your child in terms of preventing
Okay.
cavities. So don't shy away from treatment like this because it would make sure that you don't have to go for something more intense or a severe treatment later.
Correct. So I think it's a very simple solution to
Correct.
prevent a lot of problems, I think, right?
Absolutely.
And Doctor, how frequently do you recommend it? Like, say, as you said, now this is by the age of 2 years, right? Roughly.
Correct. Correct.
So, how often should avoid bottles. I think that was another very good takeaway which I got from this live session here. So I think Dr. Nirali is back with us again.
Yes, I think the next question is going to be very important.
Yeah. Hey, Doc.
Hi, sorry.
Right, she's back.
Yes, tell me.
Can you hear us?
Doc, can you
Yes,
hear
now I
us?
can hear. Can you hear me? Yes, I can.
Can you hear us, Dr. Nirali?
Yeah, I can hear
No
you.
problem.
Can you
Yes.
hear me?
So, Doc, now is the most important. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes,
Yes,
we
yes,
can.
we can.
There seems to be a bit of lag in the internet.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
seems
it
to be
looks
some
like.
glitch. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. It's
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. So we are
Yes.
back now. So, Doc, now is also the stage when the kids start developing a bit of emotions. They show
Correct.
anger. They show a lot of emotions.
Insecurity,
Insecurities
lot
and
of
all. Yeah.
things.
So these are also the stage of life where the child develops a lot of bad habits, like putting something in their mouth and chewing constantly, or biting their lips or cheeks. So, Doc, what do you suggest? What should the parents be taking
Yeah.
care of?
So, okay, so when we look at habits, is what we're talking about. The child does pick up during these 2 to 4 year old age kids would pick up something like maybe putting their thumb in the mouth, or they would try to trap their lip in the mouth, like, this is what they would do. They would trap their lip between two teeth, or it could be something like they would have an idea of putting their tongue out in such a way that it's visible, like you will have the
Correct.
child, protruding outside. And another thing that you would probably see is the child is breathing from their mouth. Okay, you would always see the child like sit. So that would be few things that we
Right.
obviously need. Now I think there was some problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. You can go on because now we can
Yeah.
hear you.
We
Yeah.
can hear
Alright,
you.
fine. So this is a time when you want to look at these habits, but here's the thing: if these habits are broken before your child turns 4.5 years of age, it doesn't do
Okay.
much harm. Okay, whatever changes it's going to do is going to be reversible. So what you want to do is you want to get rid of the habit in a way
Yeah.
that it breaks before the child turns 4. So there are a couple of things you could do if your child is having habit of sucking. Just basically telling the
Okay.
child about the habit and telling them how it's going to harm, the dental structure, his thumb, and a lot of other things. There are a lot of storybooks that are available now in terms of how to help your child break thumb
Okay.
sucking. And in general, a very positive
Okay.
environment in which you're talking to the child could really help the child break the habit. The other thing that I generally recommend is try spending a lot of time with the child, okay? Because that is when there's an
Right.
emotional imbalance, and then they resort to other
Okay.
habits because of that reason, okay? Third thing is distraction works really well. Like if your child is busy doing one of these habits, either like putting with thumb in the mouth, or lip inside the teeth, just have them distract, have them talk to you, or give them something to play with their hands, and this habit will eventually die off. Okay, so you want to start working on getting rid of this habit. You could always make a visit to a pediatric dentist, and they would make a plan for you which would work at home. So understand that with these habits, you want to first make sure that you can get rid of at home before the child turns 4.
Okay.
Eventually, if it stays beyond the age of 4, is when, yes, you would need help from a pediatric dentist in terms of getting into a little more intense treatment. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
One habit that really needs attention would be mouth breathing. That basically tells us a lot about the airway of the child. So, if your child is sleeping with
Okay.
mouth open, if you feel child breathing, if you feel that your child is grinding the teeth and you can hear that grinding, the child is snoring, you want to look into it and want to report. This is not a habit that you can break it at home. This is the time when you make a visit to a pediatric dentist. Okay, so this is the time when we as
Okay.
dentists can do something called oral myofunction
Okay.
therapy. We generally start at the age of 4.5. But before this, at least if you have informed us, we could lay out a plan for you as what you could do at home. And by 4.5,
Okay.
we start with something called as oral myofunctional therapy.
Right.
Okay.
So just saying a little bit more about oral myofunctional therapy. It's basically exercises that we're going to give your child to do at home. And these exercises will make sure that we change the structure of the jaw and the face. So it's going to work two ways. It's going to change the habit of your child. As we all know, if your child is going to be sucking the thumb till your child is 6.5 years, the child is going to get crooked, right? If your child has any of the other habits, including mouth breathing, the child is going to get crooked teeth later, right? So we want to break these habits early. Either if you can work well with home care, or eventually when we visit a pediatric dentist, this therapy of oral myofunctional therapy will ensure that you can break the habit. It really involves something as simple as doing few exercises at home. There might be an appliance that is given to you to wear for your child to wear that would help to break the habit for them. But this is one way to prevent crooked teeth later in life. Something as early as 4.5–5 years is now what we can do to ensure that your child has straight teeth later in life.
Right.
Great. Doctor, you know what? I think there's already a lot more questions still coming up. And I'm sure you still have a lot of information to give us. But I think, you know what? I think we will just continue with this in the next session. And
Yes, I think
Yeah,
this issue is such vast. There are so many
Yeah.
questions and so many
we're
problems.
literally being poured in here right now with questions. So,
So they need to be addressed individually, and
Yes,
each and every
sure.
aspect of the kid, right from when the teeth starts erupting to they have their permanent teeth in the mouth, needs to be
Correct.
addressed.
Right.
So Doc, it makes sense that we have it in the another session. We'll be so for all our viewers, we'll be soon announcing the next session where we'll be addressing when the kids develop a mixed set of teeth. That is,
Correct.
they have the milk teeth and the permanent teeth in their mouth, and also when the milk teeth start falling off, and when
Correct.
the permanent set of teeth are already in their mouth. So what are the care? What are the problems?
Yes.
And what are the different ways that they can be prevented? We'll be all addressing them in the second series of the Unlockdown. Thank you, Dr. Nirali. Thanks for such interesting and valuable tips. I'm sure all our viewers would definitely start implementing them and
Yeah.
recommend them for the parents to be, or someone who already have toddlers in their house.
I'm sure. And as I said, we will be coming back with more of these preventive strategies for your children so that they don't actually have to go in for any kind of treatments, right, doctor? And we'll announce the session
Absolutely,
very
that's the
soon.
goal.
It should be in the coming week, and we shall just be back with it, right? All right, then.
Thank you for
Take care.
having me
See you
here.
soon. Thank
Thank you, Dr.
Take
Nirali.
care. Yeah.
Bye.
See you.
Take
Bye.
Bye bye.